Hi everybody, by the end of this exercise you're going to be able to paint something like this, 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 and this. And for that you're going to need paper, pencil, eraser, sharpener, brushes, watercolor, water, something to mix the paint, cloth, and for one particular work we're going to need masking tape, okay? Before we start, a little disclaimer, okay? If you have been following this series, you've likely noticed that our goal here is to develop the creative abilities that you already have. And by now, I hope that you've seen that creating something beautiful only requires a little understanding of some basic concepts like color, shape, texture, proportion, composition, and how it all behaves into a given space, okay? So today we are going to create some pieces using very simple shapes, but that will be rather expressive, and for that we will use only blocks of color, okay? It's not necessarily an abstraction, but we are going to strip down our subjects to the bare minimum, okay? All it takes is that you make it all with intention and purpose. So let's start with a little exercise. So let's say that you can't draw. You tried, but you cannot draw anything. But I'm pretty sure you can do this, can't you? And that you can also do this. And that you can do something like this. And maybe you can do something like this. So you have all it takes to create a very interesting landscape. Okay, you can't draw, but you can make a circle, can't you? So you can make an oval, right? If you can make an oval, you can make a second oval. And then you can make a third oval. You can make a line. And you can make another oval and another oval. You can make a flower, okay? You cannot draw. I'm pretty sure you can make a circle, can't you? Yes, you can. And you can make something like this. I know it sounds silly, I know it looks silly, but this is a very nice composition. I would do this and keep it in my kitchen, okay? Oh, it is too much for you. What about this? You can make a circle, can't you? You can make a little line. Isn't this beautiful? I think it is. One more, we have more for you. You can't draw, but you can make this. And maybe you can make this. And maybe you can make this and this. What you have here, you have a vase. So all you need to do is to bring it here, bring it here, bring it here, bring it here, and make an oval, another oval, another oval, another oval. You see, everything is very simple. Most times what people do, they give up very easily because they think that their abilities aren't good enough for them to create something, and they simply give up. While someone with a degree in art or art training will do this with intention, with confidence, because they know that this works, okay? And we are going to make this work today. You cannot draw, but I'm pretty sure you can do this, can't you? Okay, let's just block this here, right? You can make this, can't you? It's very simple, isn't it? And you can make this. Can't you? Once again, If you do this with intention, if you do this with purpose, this is art, okay? We have one more. So another flower, okay? You can do this, can't you? Oh, I need one of those. Thanks. Them two are bad, but that's okay. You can do this, can't you? Yes, you can. You can do this. Yes, you can. And you can do this, can't you? And you can do this. If you simply add texture, color, and most of all, intention to this, this becomes something absolutely beautiful. Let's try just one more. And I'm pretty sure that you can do this, can't you? Yes, you can. And you can do this, can't you? Yes, you can. And see what you have here? You have a bottle. You can do this, can't you? Yes, you can. Right? Right? Okay? So that's it. So today we are going to transform all these sketches into something that you would be happy to hang on your wall. Okay, we have 8 of them and we have little tags. So let's start. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to transform this into something that you would add to your wall. I'm going to do something different. Rather than doing this, I'm going to do something a little bit more urban. So I'm going to mark the borders with masking tape. You don't have to, okay, but it helps. I'm going to use this color that is already here. Okay. Oh, before that, what I'm doing here, I'm controlling the amount of water, adding way too much color, too much water to make the color be very pale. Bear in mind that the texture that you're going to get depends much on the type of paint that you're using. In this case, I'm using watercolor. And the kind of paper that you're going to be using. In this case, I'm using cotton paper, which is not meant to be painted with watercolor, by the way. It is more like for oil or maybe acrylics, but I still like the washed out texture that it brings. You have got to be careful with this because depending on the kind of paper that you're using, the masking tape might rip it off, okay, which is what happened here. But it's not enough to ruin everything. So our scene is nearly complete. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of color. It's going to be a little bit more washed out here. Just want it to be kind of slowly but surely fading, you know. So right now I'm just adding water. It's going to be a little bit stained. Okay, and if you want it to be, you know, to add some drama, you can do this. You don't have to. And with that, we have our first painting. As you can see, it is all done with color blockings. We have 2 blocks of color. 3, if you will. So we have one color here, and kind of one color here. Okay, this is our first. Okay, our second one is going to be this one. So it's very simple. And all we need is to draw two very simple shapes. Something a little bit irregular, okay, and something a little bit more regular here. Yes, this yellow. If I wanted, I could just leave it white, but it is more interesting if it has some kind of texture, even though it's a very simple composition. See what's happening here? I should have waited for it to completely dry, otherwise it's going to happen this. Is it ruined? Not necessarily. But in order to prevent it to happen again, I'm going to dry it out. Okay, this will prevent this kind of contamination. I think it's a little bit more interesting, isn't it, with more contrast. That's why I'm doing the yolk a little bit more, you know, a little bit darker. So let's just put something here. Okay, so once again, just simple shapes, blocks of color, and you have your second composition. Let's try our third one. Okay, oh, this is good. This is very good. Okay, so we don't need to do much. It's like someone being seen from behind. So you have this, and you make a little head in here, and you decide where the face starts just by doing this. Okay, and you can add a little bit of detail. I don't know. Yeah, this part. As you can see, it's all a big block of color. Now the hair. I'm going to make her brunette. When you do this kind of work, my tip is make it as large as possible, okay? Don't be afraid of painting large canvases. For this kind of art, you have got to go huge. The larger, the better. See? From this to this. Okay, now we are going to do this. I'm pretty sure you thought that this would be way too simple. Okay, so how can this way too simple composition work? Once again, all you need to do is make a circle. And it doesn't even have to be, you know, a good circle. It's just a circle. Then you add another thing here, and then you do this, and then you do this. Okay, let's paint it. One of the biggest mistakes of people when people are trying to mix something with texture is that they kind of try to get the texture in a very artificial way, and it shows. Okay, you don't have to do that. Naturally, it's going to have a texture. You really don't have to do anything. Just let the medium do its magic. So why am I adding this bluish background? Because I think it adds drama. Okay, it is more interesting for the composition. The only thing that you have to be careful is not to contaminate, because the orange color here is still wet. So if both colors are still wet, one is going to eventually contaminate the other. Okay, so you already saw that happening, and you don't want that to happen unless that is your intention. Okay. And once again, you can see that this is pretty dark, but I'm controlling the amount of color by controlling the amount of water. And once again, we have a very nice composition just using very simple shapes and blocks of color. So yes, we have our fourth. Let's make this one. You see, this is just a big block of color. So I have already kind of marked here. I want this to be a very bright red. Let me see if this is bright enough. Yes. Yes. So what's going on here? The background color is still wet, so I am not getting that sharp edge. So the best way to prevent this to happen is, one, wait for it to completely dry. You can use a dryer, a hair dryer for that. Or you can force it dry by using a cloth. And let's try to fix that. Once again, the sharper, the better. Okay? And one trick that usually is nice is when you mix. For instance, I'm using basically this red and this green. So I put some green in the red, and I am going to do the same thing with the green. I'm going to get some red from here and add it here. Okay, and then we have our fifth illustration. Once again, made entirely with and only with blocks of color. And we're going to finish our series today with this one. Okay, so once again, the border, the shape don't have to be regular, but it has to be sharp. Okay, the border has got to be sharp. Otherwise, it's going to look unintentional. It won't look as if you don't care or you don't know what you're doing. You're just adding color. So if you want people to know that you did this because you want it like this, so make it sharp. Okay, this is going to let anybody know that it is how it is because you want it to be like this. So I had a little accident when I was recording this. I ran out of battery and I didn't capture the final bits of this particular painting, but here is a little clip of the final piece. And here are the results of the paintings that we've did today. As always, keep on practicing and thank you for joining us.